The first building block is called common service language. Now, every industry has its own language. The finance industry, credits, debits, liabilities, assets. The IT industry, they talk about bandwidth, compatibility, bug reports, and uptime. Manufacturing and retail, stock keeping units, inventory turnover, first in, first out warehouse control. Every industry has a common language. Every department has a common language too. Human resources, recruitment, orientation, compensation and benefits, succession planning, career paths, staff retention. What's not as common is when an organization shares a common service language that describes clearly someone else's experience with the service that you provide. That's exactly what the Up Your Service College fundamental service principles and key learning points are intended to provide. The 6 levels of service: criminal, basic, expected, desired, surprising, unbelievable. All of these describe the service experience from someone else's point of view. Service transactions, perception points. These describe the sequence. They also highlight the points where customers form their opinion, their perception during our service delivery. The big picture, the experience the other person values, and the categories of that value we can provide: primary product, delivery systems, service mindset, ongoing relationship. The 5 styles of service: direction, production, education, motivation, inspiration. And finally, take personal responsibility. So customers and colleagues experience you taking responsibility and taking action, not blaming others, feeling ashamed, or making up excuses. These fundamental service principles form the basis for a common service language throughout the organization. Now, what makes a common service language highly effective? Number 1, it's got to be easy to understand. Number 2, it applies to real work. Number 3, it makes sense at all levels, from the front line all the way to the boardroom. Number 4, it applies to external service to customers. It also applies to internal service to colleagues. Number 6, it translates easily to other languages. Try it. And finally, number 7, it's rational, but it also has an emotional component. Now, why is a common service language important for your organization? First of all, it will take you and your colleagues out of your internally focused point of view so that you understand what the customer is perceiving, what the customer is experiencing. Or, if you're an internal service provider serving a colleague, it will help you to better understand your colleagues' perception and experience of the service you provide. This common service language helps us coordinate internally so that we're focused on what our customer really wants, not only focused on our internal KPIs. And how does a common service language help you to build a superior service culture? Well, it builds understanding between different parts of the organization. It reinforces the shared learning that people are doing together. And most importantly, it improves the ease of coordination between different parts of the organization. Let me give you an example of this common service language in action. There's a hospitality club where a housekeeper has been working for 8 years. Her job is to keep the area clean, including in the back of the house. There's another man that works there whose job is to maintain the heating and the air conditioning units, and he has a bad habit. He tends to smoke cigarettes in an area in the back of the house where he's not supposed to smoke. And every day the ashes and the cigarette butt end up on the floor, and the housekeeper comes along and has been cleaning up after him for years. And then one day, the two of them attended together Course 100, Achieving Superior Service in Up Your Service College. And the very next week, she was walking along the back of the house and she saw him smoking a cigarette as usual. But this time, after so many years, she turned and said, "Criminal." He heard what she said and, feeling embarrassed, put it out and never smoked there again. The power of two colleagues having a common service language. So what action should you take to make this building block stronger in your organization? Number one, use the common service language every day. And number two, ask that others use the same language too. Number three, embed the language into the standard practices that you're accustomed to using in your organization. Make sure that language shows up on your meeting agenda. Build it into speeches and other service communications. Have that service language reflected in your service improvement process, in your appraisals, in your dashboard metrics. A common service language is the first building block in the 12 building blocks of superior service culture.